everything's trucking along. Fair cops trucking along. You won one part of your first case. You're getting ready to do the appeal. Everything's moving along. And then the Fair Cop account made a very interesting comment and a hashtag, which was, well, why don't you tell us?
Was it hashtag Mr. August?
No, still not Mr. August. Take a break. We will come around to that.
Right, okay.
Possibly later on.
Oh, it was that other hashtag. Say yes
the
to
other
hate.
One. Say yes.
Yes, say yes to hate.
To hate.
Not say yes to Mr. August.
No.
Say yes to hate.
Say yes to hate, because I do believe that caused a little bit of a kerfuffle.
Yeah, people got upset about that, and they were wrong to do so. I mean, I understand why they did.
Context is everything.
Well, let's look at the context. The context was, I think it was on one of the very many trans visibility months of history or awareness days or what have you. And I said it directly to a police account. I can't remember which police account it was. And this police account they were propagating the lie, and it is a lie, that trans people are at particular risk of crime when they're not, are at particular risk of murder, and they're absolutely not. They're the safest damn demographic known to man,
yep.
If you go by statistics.
And we must.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing else.
And they were encouraging people to, if you see hate, report it. Report it. Report it. It's your duty to report it. And you get the opportunity to report it through this thing called the True Vision website. This anonymous portal, reporting portal, where you don't need to give your details. You don't need to give evidence. You just need to name a subject and give your perception. And that's it. Okay. So I think this is just bonkers.
Yeah.
So I said, actually, hatred is a human emotion, and it's none of your goddamn business.
It's also not an offence to hate.
It's not an offence. It's got and I put, unless hatred is the motivating factor that spills over into criminality, it's got nothing to do with you, Mr. Police. Say hashtag say yes to hate.
What I enjoyed.
So that caused
a meltdown.
I
got what I enjoyed was some of the comments they were offended that you put say yes to hate.
Yeah.
And they say, look, and then in the same comment says, say yes, it shows they want to be I fucking hate TERFs.
Yeah. I hate you, Harry Miller.
Yeah, it's like,
well, you just proved my point.
Yeah.
You think,
and they do it every time.
Yeah,
they do it every time.
Exactly. Well, I, being a sad old sod, I went through some of the accounts that were saying no to hate, and you just a little bit of scroll, and they're hating somebody.
Very hateful.
They're hating somebody. Now, particularly when you look at the police definition of hate, because the police kindly define hate for us. They say hate is hostility, and hostility is defined as antagonism, ill will, unfriendliness, dislike, prejudice. Okay, now hold on a minute. I'm allowed to be antagonistic in a democratic society, because antagonism, the ability to put over the other point of view and question what you're saying, is fundamental to democracy. So I'm definitely saying yes to that. Okay, what about ill will? Well, those people who are going to be voting in the mayoral elections in Manchester or in London, and they will either be wishing goodwill to Andy Burnham and Sadiq Khan, or they'll be wishing ill will to Andy Burnham and Sadiq Khan. So clearly, ill will is okay. Spite is another one. Spite. Well, spite has got nothing to do with what happened to Stephen Lawrence. No. Spite is when you decide you're going to grow your ley-landi a little bit high to block out your neighbour's view, to piss them off.
It's pettiness.
It's petty pissing offness, isn't it?
Yeah.
So we don't intend to criminalise that. So you'd say yes to spite. Unfriendliness. Well, screw you. I can be as unfriendly as I like to whoever I like. Actually, providing it doesn't spill over into criminality. What has unfriendliness got to do with anything? Dislike. I can dislike who the hell I like. It's got nothing to do. So what part of say yes to hate do you really disagree with? But of course it's not. It's a gut reaction that they're having, not an intellectual.
Harry wants us to hate everybody.
Yes, Harry wants us to hate everybody. And my view is this. If by hate you mean a vitriol and a prejudice which is so strong and urging you that at any given moment it is likely to spill out into literal violence. Of course, I say no to that. But that's not what the police definition is. And until the police give us a sensible definition of what hatred is, I will continue to say yes to hate. And it's no good saying that, yes, but hatred can be a motivator towards racial assault. It can, but then envy can be a motivator towards theft.
Yes.
We don't have envy crimes, do we? We don't have envy crimes. We don't. We don't have.
We will tomorrow.
We don't have gluttony crimes because, you know, gluttony can lead to people going in and mugging the Big Mac worker and running off with all the pies. We don't say that, do we? So why do we focus in on hatred as an emotion and ignore all these other ones? Why do it's just nonsensical?
Yeah,
to me, it's nonsense.
So
I don't apologise.
It's just feelings. That's
it's
the
just
problem.
A feeling. I don't give
and
a shit
feelings
about
have
feelings.
no place in the law.
Yeah,
no place
not
at all.
Unless my hatred is a motivating factor for criminal action, it is no damn business of yours, Mr. Policeman.
Well, that's where the Dankula one comes in very importantly as well, because the intent of what he did was very clear. If you look at his history, the context of it was very clear, and the court said that doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, only the interpretation
Yeah.
of a third party.
Yeah.
It's
nonsense.
matters.
It's nonsense. You know, like I said, crime is a guilty mind. That's motivation.
Yep.
Plus guilty action. Okay. Minus a defence. So you've got to have all those elements to have a crime. So of course motivation matters. The only time motivation doesn't matter is when it's an absolute offence, such as speeding.
Yes.
You know, at that point you can't say, "Oh well, I didn't mean to." That's it. Unless you're running a bleeding, dying person who's about to give birth to the hospital, there is no defence.
Yes.
It's an absolute offence. So, of course, guilty mind, guilty action, minus the defence, that's the definition of a crime. And that's why Fair Cop is, we are campaigning to drag the police back to policing the law with traditional legal values.